everybody. Welcome to principle number 7, full sovereign expression. And before we get into a discussion, I'm just going to read it to you. It is a potent expression of divine love to be fully expressed as an individual. Every person plays a necessary role in integrating what is needed to create a world that works for everyone. We also believe that it is courageous to be fully expressed. And even though this can be messy and create contrast, it is where our differences meet that our greatest opportunities for healing, growth, and evolution exist. Mm-hmm. So full sovereign expression is a favorite one of mine. I believe that the more that the energy of divine creation, life moves through you, the more alive you are. And this may sound a little crazy, but I think that if you were truly tapped into your full sovereign expression all the time, you could live forever. But what happens in this world is that we get conditioning, we get, it's when we're like, yay, I'm full sovereign expression. And then someone's like, dude, you can't sing, or tamper it down, or be quiet, or whatever shush. Those things are. Shush. I love to shush her. I love to limit her full sovereign expression. It's crazy, right?
So
we do this to one another at times. And what happens is then we get kind of, and then we get smaller and smaller and smaller, and that causes us to age, it causes us to be grumpy, it causes us all these things. But I think if we were able to tap into or re-engage that part of ourselves that lights us up, that moves that energy in us, that gets our nervous system alive, that creates excitement, that same energy is what could create the everlasting life within us. So full sovereign expression to me is a very important and powerful tool that you can use in your life to create longevity, to have more energy in your day, to just be more creative day to day. And at the end of this, we'll talk about some practices that you can do to create that. But for now, Sierra, what's your interpretation of full sovereign expression?
Limitless freedom. Right? Like you just get to be who you are and express how you want. As you said, we live in a world that really invites us to kind of conform to various ways of being, whether we're conforming to what we think a business person's supposed to look like, dressing, acting, speaking, whether we're conforming to what an adult is supposed to be or look like, and not really working our feelings or our expressions at the level that we see children do. Not that we need to be temper tantrum adults, but just even this idea that we could actually allow ourselves to emote more, even as human beings. To be able to dress however you want and feel good about it, even when it's wacky or wild or Kool-Aid style. But, it really is about, remember that commercial? Anyway.
I kind of do.
Right?
Yeah.
But it really is about a freedom, real freedom, and the ability to be who you are without any conditioning, any rules, any places that, like you shared, tells us that we need to simmer down or hold back or deny a part of ourselves.
Nice. Let's go over to Derek and Gleet next, and then we'll go to George and Tracy after that.
Yeah, I'll pick it up. This one is very near and dear to my heart, and so I consciously surround myself with people that are part of a culture of non-judgment. And that being said, I worked in corporate for about 15 years and struggled with having, what Sierra referred to, the business mask versus my true self. And slowly but surely, I just dropped that mask and integrated who I am. And the more I did that, actually, the more creative I was, the more responses I had from people in the workplace. And in general, I was happier. So I've really tested it out in my life, and ultimately an integration of your surroundings and your true authentic expression. Everyone's gonna dial in what that means to them, but I've definitely done that in my own life, and it's made a big difference.
Yeah, I for me, full sovereign expression breaks down to a core idea, like 2 core principles, or ideas: know yourself and be yourself. That's sort of the magic recipe. And, nature doesn't need a day planner and calendars because it's not, it doesn't have this extra layer of conditioning. The acorn is not like, well, look, those apple trees are doing much better appling. Maybe I should be an apple tree, right? An acorn would make a terrible apple. So it's just is what it is, and so all of life expresses naturally as that seed idea. I feel like that's the same with us. Most of our challenges and struggles with time and management, all these different things, are because we're trying to be all these things for all these people. But I think what's really powerful about this whole, all the principles we're talking about in relationship, my personal experience has been, I thought I knew what my full sovereign expression was, but I really had a lot of blinders, and being in partnership and ultimately in community is really what I feel like is the way you get to see so many of the parts of you that are not being expressed, that perhaps previously you weren't given permission, and then you show up and give me all this permission, and suddenly I'm able to discover, oh my God, and it's like a light comes on, another circuit comes on, until my whole dashboard is lit up. And to me, the biggest gift of relationship and community is actually the opportunity to discover more and more and more of what your full sovereign expression can really be, versus what the world out there tends to do, which is it tries to tamp it down. And what we're doing here is using relationship and community as a way to wake it up.